value of each variable. If your answer is not an integer, leave it in simplest radical form. So here we have a 90-degree angle, a 30-degree angle. So it lets us know that the remaining angle will be 60 degrees. And we know it'll be 60 degrees because the sum of all interior angles of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. So this angle is 90 degrees, this angle is 30 degrees, which comes to 120 when you add them together. And 120 minus, or 180 minus 120 equals 60 degrees. But how do we use that information to find the missing legs here? We have a right triangle, and the hypotenuse is 40 units. We'll just call it 40 units of measure. Well, to figure out the length of the missing legs, we use the properties of a 30, 60, 90-degree triangle. So let's get into that. Let's say we have an equilateral triangle, right? And we know that with an equilateral triangle, each side is equal to the same unit of measure. So let's say this side is equal to 2 units. Then that means this side is going to be 2 units. And this side is going to be 2 units. But also, each angle is equal to one another. So that means this angle is going to be 60 degrees. And the remaining angles are going to be 60 degrees. Because 180 divided by 3 is equal to 60. So that's how we know each angle is going to be 60 degrees. 60 plus 60 is 120, and 120 plus 60 is 180. Now, and seeing that we have an equilateral triangle, let's draw a line from the top point straight down the middle to the midpoint of the opposite line. This gives us a 90-degree angle here, a 60-degree angle here. And now that we have cut this angle at the top in two, this angle is now 30 degrees. So now we have a 30-degree angle, a 60-degree angle, and a 90-degree angle. So now we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle. We break that out here. So we know this side is the measure of 2 units. And we divided this side in half, divided it by 2. So now that side is 1 unit. So this is 1 unit of measure. And we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to find the length of this missing leg. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now remember, c is always going to be our hypotenuse, which is the side opposite of the 90-degree angle. This is the hypotenuse here. This leg here is the hypotenuse. So we're going to have a squared, which is going to be 1 squared, plus b squared, which is going to be our missing leg, equals c squared, which is going to be 2 squared, which is our hypotenuse. 1 squared is equal to 1 plus b squared equals 4. It's 2 to the second power is 4. We need to get b by itself. So first we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. It cancels out. 1 minus 1 is 0. Bring down b squared is equal to 3. To get b by itself, we're going to take the inverse of both sides. So Going to take the square root of b squared. And what we do to one side of the equal side, we do to the other. We're going to take the square root of 3. So then we're going to just get b is equal to the square root of 3. So this missing side is the square root of 3. Now, remember, this top angle is 30 degrees. And this angle here is 60 degrees. So whenever we have a 30, 60, 90 degree angle, we know that the short side is going to be the length of the hypotenuse divided by 2. And the long leg is going to be the length of the short side times the square root of 3. Or the opposite. The hypotenuse is going to be the length of the short side multiplied by 2. And the long side is going to be the length of the short side multiplied by the square root of 3. And the opposite of that is going to be the long side is going to be the opposite, okay? So here we have a 30, 60, 90 degree angle. The hypotenuse is 40. So we know that x is going to equal 40 divided by 2, which is equal to 20. So we know that this side equals 20. And the long side is going to equal the short side multiplied by the square root of 3. So since the short side is equal to 20, y is going to be equal to 20 times the square root of 3. Or you could just write 20 square root of 3. Let's